Eric Roberts, a health economist, University of Pennsylvania's Perelman School of Medicine, said this, quote, "No matter what, the scale and breadth of the cuts in this bill will be felt in populations that policymakers have said they want to protect," end quote. Cue the laugh track right there. They want to protect. He went on to say the size of the Medicaid and Medicare programs and the number of people they touch across the lifespan, children, working-age adults, pregnant individuals, older adults, people with disabilities, all of this means that you cannot just go in and cut out a piece of Medicare, Medicaid funding without cascading effects, end quote. Now, the major problem here, as I see it, is because these Christian demons are so fucking willfully ignorant and stupid. They don't give a shit about any of this stuff. They don't do the research. They listen to their Lord Christ, Jesus, God, Master Donald Trump, who says, I want this cut. I want this budget. I want this big, bad, beautiful, bitchy, brutal fucking bill passed. Do you understand me? I want it done because I have to get, well, I'm not going to tell you why, but the reason is he needs to have the money to give enormous tax cuts to the billionaire class. And Trump makes no goddamn secret about that. That's what he is about. He's a grifter and a hustler and a liar and a con artist. And 77 million Americans voted for this fuckwad. Well, we are feeling the lash of this son of a bitch. And the lash comes in the policies that he tells his cult followers in the House and the Senate to put into law, or into a bill and pass it so he, King fucking Donald, can sign it. And I mean, here we are. This shit is happening. The Christians scheduled a debate on this bill and a vote on this bill at 1 o'clock this morning. Well, yeah, 1 o'clock Wednesday morning, when most decent people are asleep or otherwise occupied. And they did this dirty fucking shit, this Christian demonic stuff. They did it at 1, 2, 3 o'clock this morning. Isn't that lovely? Isn't this a lovely religion that teaches the adherents to this goddamn horrible thing to lie, cheat, steal, be devious, do it in the dark, don't tell people what you're really doing, be a backstabber, be a hypocrite? Wow. That's a religion? Yes, Mike, it is. That is a religion. Meanwhile, one thing I've noticed that some of the bitches that Trump has put into positions of power, yes, I'm using the word bitches, no reference to their gender. It has to do with how much I hold them in contempt. I'm talking about Miss Puffy Lips. I'm talking about the one that heads, Homeland Security. Not Tulsi, Christie and Tulsi. Tulsi Gabbard is the director of national intelligence, and she is a fucking psychopath. I mean, she really is. But Christie Nome, I'll get to her a little bit later. And what's her name over at the new Attorney General? Huh? What about her? And now we also have Alina Habba. She was, one of Trump's attorneys who got him convicted of 34 felonies. That's her, yeah, Alina Habba. And Trump named her New Jersey's interim U.S. attorney, federal attorney for the state of New Jersey. You know, she hasn't been confirmed by anybody, but Trump can name them with his executive orders. So when this bitch was made New Jersey a U.S. attorney, she made it clear that she was going to use that office as a political bludgeon. I'm going to beat the fuck out of these Democrats. Well, she talked to one far-right neo-Nazi about turning, quote, New Jersey red. And at the time, she announced her investigations into the Democratic governor, the Democratic attorney general. She's going after Senator Cory Booker's hometown of Newark. She said to the city of Paterson, New Jersey, because of their city immigration policies, she said to them, if this doesn't sound like fucking mafia, what does? She said, I'm looking at you, Paterson. Oh, my God. What collective mausoleum does the toilet rat pull these people from? Oh, my God. Now, little Miss Alina has absolutely no prosecutorial experience. But, like I said, she represented the toilet rat in 3 civil trials in recent years. And she found an opening this month to make her mark when 3 Democratic House members and a progressive mayor running for governor showed up to inspect migrant detention center in New York. Now, we know what happened there, right? Initially, this bitch charged the mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka, with trespass, despite his compliance with the stormtroopers who were there, told him to get the fuck away from the Immigration and Custom Enforcement Facility fenced-in area. So he did. So this little bitch Haba dropped the misdemeanor charge this week, but escalated the May 9 dispute by charging Democratic Representative LaMonica McIver with felony assault on law enforcement in the scuffle that happened when these stormtroopers were arresting Baraka, the mayor, Mayor Baraka. Now, I'm sure you've seen the video. It's been played all over the place, especially on MSNBC. But it shows pushing and shoving. But the pushing and shoving was caused by these fucking Gestapo agents, the ICE bums. And to start arresting a member of Congress, a mayor. Look what they did with the judge. Where was that? Minnesota? I mean, there is no need to look any further to be able to determine what kind of a state we now live in. I think you're aware of that. Now, the neo-Nazis in this country were applauding this bitch, her decision to arrest people and charge people, even though the charges against the mayor she had to drop, and the charges against the member of Congress she'll have to drop. But the neo-Nazis in this country were very proud of her. Democrats said she had crossed a so-called red line, with New Jersey Representative Frank Pallone going as far as to call her part of a fascist regime. That's Frank Pallone's own words. Fascist regime. I'm encouraged that certain members of the House are starting to wake up to what this fucking Trump is doing and his Gestapo people and beginning to call it exactly what it is. It's about time. I can remember not that long ago, people were being admonished in media. Now, don't refer to Hitler. Don't refer to fascists. Don't call them Nazis. You know, they're nothing like that. Now, you may have a difference of opinion. That's politics. Everybody in politics has a different opinion. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Who couldn't see, seriously, who could not see, especially people in government, who could not see what was really going on and what the goals were? I mean, if I can see it sitting up here in the fucking mountains of North Georgia, and you can see it wherever you live, but, oh no, certain members of Congress and the media were just unable to see what was happening, what this country was being led into, until, of course, it's too late. It's sad, but it's also a commentary on the idiocy, the total fucking idiocy of American voters. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.